Today, we're going to be teaching you how to play Not Your Grandma's Checkers. Now, this checker game is like no other in that there's no board, it's all made out of cards. So how it's going to start is there's a deck of cards right here that combines black and white squares that are inside this deck. And there's a whole bunch of special cards in here, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But to start the game, you're going to start out with 5 cards for each player. You're also going to give 2 pawns to each player of their own color. So Anthony will take 2 of those, and I'll take 2 of these. Now, we'll stack the rest of the deck here, and we're actually going to start building our board from this deck. So, the first cards will do, every single board starts the same way. 1 black piece in the middle, 1 black piece on each of the sides, and white pieces in between. This right here is the start of every board. It's 5 cards across, and the board will allow itself to get up to 5 columns across, unless you play a special card, which again, we'll talk about in a minute. But this is how the game is going to start. You put the rest of the cards here to get going, and you'll use your own cards, including your pawns, to be able to start playing and building on this board. Okay, we're going to go and start playing. Anthony, you're first. All right, so he can put down these pieces, and they have to be put down in a certain way. They have to be touching one full side of a piece, or if I go next, I can actually put a piece down on top of a piece. So I can put a white piece down on top of another one of those squares. Now you can only build them as high as 5 high in the cards on this square, but you can put again on the side or on the top. Now both of us just play the cards, so we both are going to pick an additional card from the pile. We could also, if we wanted to, pick another one of our pawn cards, but we're always going to have 7 cards in our hand at any time. All right, Anthony, your turn again. You're going to go there. I'm going to go there. Okay, now make sure you continue to take your cards so we don't forget, right? I'm going to go right there.
I'm going to go right there.
Okay, now I'm going to do my first introduction of a piece into the game. So you can put any of your pawn pieces onto the board whenever you want, but they have to go in the back row and only on black squares. Now, no matter what, these pawns can only travel on black squares. And like checkers, pawns can only move forward. But in this game, they can move forward both directly forward as well as diagonally forward. So we'll keep playing and you get the hang of it. But remember, this piece only moves forward, diagonal or direct. It cannot move side to side, even if there's another black space right next to it.
I'm also going to put a piece down.
All right, so he's moving his pawn up by a piece, and I'm going to do the same. Now he played a white right in front of me, so he actually blocked me from being able to move because he made it white. However, I can turn it back to black with one of my pieces and be able to continue to keep playing. And now I turn it back to white yet again. Now, this can only happen up to 5 times. So I've now placed a black piece on there, and there's 5 in this row right now. So no more pieces can be played on top of this square right here. I'm going to introduce another pawn here, and we're going to keep playing like this for a while. You'll get the hang of it, but we're going to speed this up just a little bit. Okay, hopefully you're getting the hang of it, playing pieces down. Now let's show you there are 4 special cards in this game. So I happen to have one in my hand right now, and it's an add a column card. So when you play this right next to the card pile as a discard, and I get to now add a column. I get to widen this actual board. So I can go over here, I can place another card here, which will make it 6 columns wide. That's the first special card. Let me show you, there are actually 3 others. There's a free king card. So when you play this card into this pile, you get to turn over anywhere on your board, any one of your pawns, you get to make it into a king. Now kings do the same exact thing that you can do with a king in a regular checkers game. It allows you to move both forward and backwards. And you can get kings with this free king card, or same in checkers, if you can make it to your opponent's back end, you can get a king and change one of your pawns over when you get there as well. So those are 2 ways to do that. Now there are 2 other special cards in here. There's a take 2 turns card, and this card is pretty powerful because it allows you to take 2 turns at one time. If you play that, you might be able to get yourself into a position where you can jump over an opponent's card potentially. So if we had a take 2 turns card, we may be able to be in a situation where Anthony can move to a position to get in front of my pawn and then jump over the top of it. The last card is a card, move 2 black spaces. This allows you to move 2 black spaces anywhere on the board. So we can move a black space from here to here. I can move a black space from here to here. Any spaces that you want. Now that does count as your turn, so you can't do anything else other than utilize that card during your turn. So those are the 4 special cards. So, how about we keep playing?
I'm going to use take 2 turns. Can I jump smooth? I'm going to put one down and jump my dad.
Alright, so this is now showing how you capture your opponent's pieces, which in the end really is the object of checkers. Now for our checkers game, it's to capture 5 of your opponent's pieces. So Anthony now has 1, and he did that in the same way that you do that in a regular game of checkers. You jump over the top of an opponent. Now you have to start from a black square, and you have to end on a black square. But you can go diagonally, or you can go straight forward and back. Now you can never jump an opponent going side to side though. So only diagonal and forward and back. So he was able to jump, and he made it to my back end, which flipped him over from a pawn to a king.
I'm going to go and jump here.
Right there. Now, I'm going to use my own take 2 turns card. And I'm going to put 1 there. And I'm going to go ahead and jump over the top. And I'm going to claim my next piece. Now, this game does take a little bit of time as you go through this. So Anthony and I are going to play a little bit more. We'll speed it up for you. Okay, as you can see from the super sped up video, Anthony actually captured 5 of my pieces, so he's won. And you notice that we play with all the cards. So we get rid of all of our cards onto the table. They're different stacks, different places. And then we had to start playing just with the cards that were on the table. And I was forced into having to move my king. It was the last move left. He was able to jump me and take my pieces. So that's how you play, not your grandma's checkers. Hopefully your son doesn't beat you too badly when you play.